Good morning here from Newfound Gap, looking out over North Carolina and the clouds. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to do two peaks today for the South Beyond 6,000. I'm going to hit Mount Kephart and Mount LeConte. So it's a busy holiday weekend. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and the Alum Cave parking lot was already full, and it's about 46 degrees, so it's really nice. And hopefully I had a really good time doing the video last time, and I've got a new little gadget, so hopefully this will be the last video is not stable. So I got this little guy. We're gonna try him out today and see if that makes my video more stable. And got about 15 miles to go today, and we'll talk to you along the way. All right, so just getting going. I'm about maybe a quarter of a mile in, and I wanted to try out the gimbal just to see how stable the image is, and I think so far it's working really well. I can't really tell till I get home and review the video, but so far I like what I see. Absolutely fantastic morning to be out here. Had to get moving pretty good to warm up. Wind was blowing up there at Newfound Gap and I got a little chilled, but now that I'm moving, it's warming up quite nicely. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some views along the way. It's a crystal clear day. Harvey hurricane blew through yesterday, or remnants thereof, and whenever that happens, it leaves a clear sky. So hoping for good views. Going through a little gap here on the AT between Newfound Gap and the Boulevard Trail, and ran across a couple of, well, a group of guys actually. They had made camp off to the side of the trail on a little overlook. It's not maybe a mile from Newfound Gap, and lots of little side trails in this area. Makes me think that it might be a possibility to avoid the shelters when doing the big hike to get the rest of the peaks here in the Smoky. So Sweet Heifer Trail going off to Kephart Shelter down that way, and then the Boulevard Trail is another mile. So actually that spot was about maybe a mile and a half from Newfound Gap. Something to think about when it comes time to do that hike. So this is the jump off trail, side trail off the boulevard. It's a little windy here, but there's a fantastic view of Mount LeConte off to the distance there. I'll be there in a little while. I just came across the summit of Mount Kephart. I'm going to take some video of that on the way back, but I wanted to go down and view the jump off. Apparently there is a spectacular view of the northern end of the Smokies from the jump off. So I'm going to run down here. It's a couple tenths of a mile, but see if I can get some views of the area that I'm going to hike to get the peaks up that way. A little steep right here. Yeah, get a load of that. Just came down that right there. Pretty rugged trail here in places. But again, beautiful day. If it wasn't windy, it'd be $1 million day. But even with the wind, it's really, really nice. So I just got to the jump off, and I'm kind of lost for words. I don't know really what to say. This is the most unbelievable view that I've seen in the Smokies. And like looking off to this side, I mean, just still some clouds in the valley along the way. A couple guys here this morning that came to do the jump off, but I'm telling you what, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know what to say. Looking off in the distance, and let's just see if we can do this here. So yeah, that's why they call it the jump off. Nice bush here that might stop you, but I don't know, I kind of doubt it. I hate that the sun's kind of in our face here, but I wanted to get a good view of out here, because I believe that would be Mount Goyet, and there's several peaks out that way that I'm going to need to climb later. Goyet's the tallest one. I don't really know the names of the rest, but let's see, the ridge line here goes to that peak there. I hate that my finger messes up the focus, and the ridge makes a right and goes over that way, kind of towards, I believe that'd be Tri-Corner Knob over there. So, man alive. Unbelievable. So as far as I can tell, this is the unspectacular summit of Mount Kephart. Sorry I didn't get the gimbal out for this. I just wanted to do something quick to document it. I don't think there's a marker here, and if there is, I don't know that I can find it amongst all this mess. So I'm gonna call this is it. Hey, back on the boulevard after my side trip to Mount Kephart and the jump off, and I finally calmed down from the excitement. I tell you, I had heard that the jump off was good, but that's a must do. Like, you got to add that to your list. It's like 5 miles out and back. It's not a whole lot of gain, and unreal views. After I took the last video, I wandered around for a bit, and confident that that was the peak of Mount Kephart. I got off trail a little bit, found a little clearing, and on every which way was down. So I think I can say that with confidence that was it. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, and I'll probably do a little snippet at the end so I can have something at the beginning of the video, but I wanted to say thanks to the Lone Wolf Trail Company for the swag. I've got some gear on today, and it's been working out really well. I forgot about it earlier because I had a long sleeve shirt on and covered it up, but representing the Lone Wolfers today, and we'll give them some credit on Instagram when we get home, and say thanks again for the gear. Another little quick shot here along the Boulevard Trail of Mount LeConte in the distance. So this kind of ridge to the left, gonna go across, and then that end peak, the pointy one, let's see there, it's Myrtle Point, and the trail actually wraps around this end, around the back side. So that's where we're headed. Been a little while since I took a video, but I came across a little clearing here, and in the distance there is Clingman's Dome. You can just see the observation tower with the bare eye. I don't know if it'll show up on the video or not. But yeah, one of the South Beyond 6,000 peaks, the tallest peak in the park, and the highest point on the Appalachian Trail. So that'll come on another hike, but good little view of that, and thought I'd capture that. A little out of breath. This section climbing up LeConte has been really steep. Probably in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 1,000 a mile, which is kind of the threshold when you start to notice stuff being really hard. And then kind of got to this area, and the color of the rock changed, and this is typical of the rock on the other side of LeConte on the Alum Cave Trail. Most of the rock that you see around here is that kind of gray color, and this is orangey red. It's got some iron in it, I guess, and you can kind of see the steepness here. And then I think we're gonna get a view right up here. Actually, it's steep enough they give you cables, which I mean, I guess in the winter when this is icy, that's kind of neat. So there's the cable run. Oh man, I'll say a view. Look at this. Look at that. Wow. So that little puny view from earlier was exactly that, puny. Now, yeah, so I am going to go back up and get the cable. This is a little steeper than I first thought. So I'm going to go up here and get to a better perch, and then we'll do another little video of the view. Here we go. So over off there is Goyet, and then I don't remember all the ones in between. And then cruising over this way is again the jump off, and then the boulevard trail comes up this little ridge here, and then behind me up these steep slopes here, this is Mount LeConte. So neat little place right here. I kind of like this. I want to stop and take a couple more photos, and yeah, I can see why they have the cable now. It is a pretty good drop off there. It's kind of neat. You could see this this exposed rock from the jump off earlier, and I didn't realize that the trail cuts right across it. I wish I'd known that, but pretty neat exposed portion here. Just stopped for lunch here on the way up to Mount LeConte. I wanted to stop before getting to the top, because I needed some energy. I was getting a little low because there was a bit of a climb left. And then the other part was I wanted to enjoy this view. And I guess the biggest one was, I know being a holiday weekend, the top up there is going to be absolutely packed. So I've been sitting here for 15 minutes and hadn't seen a soul. There's somebody coming down the trail. I heard them 2 or 3 times, but I haven't seen them yet. But anyway, away I go, back to keeping on. So I made it up to the ridge line of Mount LeConte, and I'm running kind of ahead of schedule, and I've never actually made it to all the peaks of LeConte. So there's Myrtle Point, High Top, West Point. I've only ever really been to the lodge. So it's a beautiful day. I said, why not? So I'm headed away from the destination out to Myrtle Point, just so I can say I've been there too. I have no idea how far it is out here. Can't be too terrible far, but just thought I would walk out here and check it out. Pretty good view from here. But yeah. Sometimes it's hard for me to slow down and not be goal oriented of, you know, I got to maintain this pace and I got to get back by this time, and you don't get many days this pretty. So I told myself, just slow down and enjoy the day, take in the views. Surprisingly, there's not been a lot of people on the Boulevard Trail, but I got a feeling that once I get close to the shelter and down Alum Cave, it's going to be more like an amusement park.
Can you imagine working up here? Right. Well, there's this line of sight from here to somewhere. There's way more that way than there is any other way. Gatlinburg's down there. We can't see it right as well. I think it's behind this bridge right there.
So I just left Myrtle Point, easternmost, northernmost peak of Mount LeConte, and it was like a circus up there. I didn't even feel like I could narrate video because there were so many people, like 25 people just standing around having lunch, which is completely understandable. It's a beautiful day, but it's going to be the new norm for the next 5 or 6 miles till I get out of here, and then that's okay. There's the rest of Mount LeConte to the south or west, depending on which way you think about it. I guess I don't really know which way it actually sits, at east, west, or north, south, but okay. This big rock pile is the ever-growing summit of Mount LeConte. I don't think there's a marker here. If there was, it'd be underneath this big old pile of stones. But this is the goal for today, peak number 2 of the SB6K. So that makes 8 of 40, and I'm 20% done. So it feels pretty good. We got 2 more peaks. I think earlier I said Big Top or High Top or something. It's Cliff Top is one of the peaks of LeConte. So, so anyway, 8 down, 32 to go. So I knew it being a beautiful day on a holiday weekend, there would be a lot of people here. But there are literally hundreds of people here. It's like I saw maybe a dozen people on the Boulevard Trail, and then got here and it is just overwhelming, the amount of people that are on this trail today. You know, I wanted to go and see the other peaks, but I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm getting a little shell shocked by the number of people. I might walk down to the lodge just to get a view of Gatlinburg and Sevierville Pigeon Forge just to say I did, but man, it is so overwhelming, the number of people here.
Are you going on in there? Or you got...
So I guess I did decide to go down. You got to get a picture of the lodge since you're here. But yeah, as you can see, you might as well be able to drive up to this place, as many people as are here.
Go with that. I'm an ancient time now. That'd be cool.
I did want to walk down here though, because every time I've ever been to LeConte, it's been fogged in and you couldn't see a darn thing. So on a day that you actually can see something, I wanted to actually see something. So, wander around here a little bit, get a view down towards the valley. Just left the madness that is the peak of Mount LeConte on a holiday weekend. I said hundreds. There might be 1,000 people up there. It is unbelievable. Definitely not a wilderness experience. Coming up on a little section trail. This part kind of is upsetting because of all the dead fir trees. But hi there.
Excuse us. Excuse us.
But this little stretch of trail is one that has kind of always stuck in my memory. It's the first time I ever experienced a the spruce forest in the southern Appalachians, and a lot of it has died. It's, you know, this might not be around a long time, but I've actually had a picture of this little stretch of trail printed at the house, and it's one that on my first hike to LeConte really stuck out to me. I was like, man, that is neat. You don't get to see that every day. So I thought I would shoot a little video through this section. It's different. Been a little while since I did a video. The trail got really crowded, and it was like a Congo line. I don't necessarily feel very comfortable talking in front of a bunch of people. So, pretty steep little section of the Alum Cave Trail here. Hopefully I don't make a blooper while I'm trying to videotape. But about halfway down, back to the highway. Got a really nice view here to the right of, in just a second, of Peregrine Peak, and then the Chimneys. So there's the Chimneys. There, where the fire started last November. Bunch of scarring and on the face. The top is actually black. You can see where it was burning. So pretty sad deal. And then hopefully this is Peregrine Peak right in here. There's a neat little feature called Eye of the Needle. Hopefully we can see that when we get on the other side. But about halfway back down. Coming up on Alum Cave, the namesake of this trail. It's a neat little spot where it's actually an old mine.
Pizza.
You're gonna feel weird talking in front of people. It was a mine for saltpeter to make gunpowder during the Civil War. So, kind of a neat place. Huge cliff bluff here. This is roughly halfway to LeConte from the road, so it's a popular spot to stop and take a break and have a snack. Like that guy over there taking a nap. Go ahead. So it's interesting to me that this is the first hike I've been on with the Lone Wolf Trail Company gear on. I don't think it's a coincidence that my mind today has been thinking about how my perception of hiking has evolved over the last few years. In the past, I thought, you know, man, LeConte, this place is awesome, and it is. It's a great place, but I'm glad I knocked it off the list for the SB6K today, and that's good. How are y'all? But I think that's one of those, I mean, it's a beautiful place, but that's not what's on my radar anymore. You know, I like going by myself. I like being out and away where there's no people, no crowds. It's kind of neat having, you know, everything you need on your back, and you're responsible for your own safety and well-being. That's what I really like. So very appropriate that this is the first hike that I've had that gear, and kind of came to that realization. I've kind of known that for a little while, but
Yeah.
you know, just like what we just passed right here, it just really came into focus today that, you know, I needed to get this peak, and I love LeConte. I mean, it's a beautiful place, but that's not where I am right now. So coming up on a pretty neat place called Arch Rock. They've rebuilt these stairs in the last couple of years, and it used to be pretty treacherous here, but it's a hole through the through this huge boulder. Actually, it's like this huge boulder fell and left a little passageway underneath it, a natural archway, if you will, and the trail goes right through it. So pretty neat. They've done a lot of work on the stairs here. This used to be moderately treacherous. Actually put concrete stone. No, those are stone. But, a neat little feature along the Alum Cave Trail. And then once we get to the bottom of this, it's Creek Valley, and pretty flattens out pretty good. And you got some people taking a picture down here. Yeah. Arch Rock. Then you get done with Arch Rock, and there's a neat little footbridge and creek, and I'm closing in on the finish. About a quarter mile to go. Totals are going to be around just a tick over 16 miles and 7 hours and 15 minutes probably, which is pretty good considering the crowds and the time spent stopped on top of the mountain to look at views and such. So I'm pretty content with that. Stopped to let a couple of runners by. So content with that. 3 mile an hour average moving pace, so a little faster than what I did in the Rones, so I'm happy with that. A couple other observations. 16 miles seems to be kind of my comfort limit for a day. I can probably go further than that, but I'm pretty beat. So honestly, if I wanted to be comfortable and go again tomorrow, 12 miles is probably my comfort zone right now.
Go on.
The LeConte on my heels, I think it helped. It didn't prevent blisters, but I think it made them better. Time will tell when I get my shoes off, but I feel pretty decent there. I think it made it a little better. So all in all, it's been a pretty good trip. 2 peaks crossed off in one day is not a bad deal. And made it out no worse for the wear. So it's been a good day. Beautiful weather. Temperatures are nice. So can't beat that. Probably hard to hear me over the creek, but the creek is the last bridge before you get to the parking lot. So we're done. So I just checked the stats. It's 16.25 miles, 7 hours and 15 minutes. And then back to the mayhem that is the Smoky Mountain National Park on a holiday weekend. So, good day. And we'll catch you all on the next one.